This is a call for an uprising. Well,
Radiology says, I've got to go to bed and I have no idea what to do with the extra bits left over from the chunk I bought because I was vitally important to my mental wealth well-being that you read Lotor Apologia, so here, have some bits, I guess. Well, thank you.
welcome to today's show. If you haven't heard about this, China has the ability and has built an artificial sun. Now,
Like a fusion reactor?
rumors have gone around that that artificial sun has been launched, and there's video footage that I'm going to show you. And it looks exactly like what you would expect it to look like if somebody was launching a virtual sun. But of course, or I should say artificial sun. But of course, the outlets like Snoops or Snopes, the most ridiculous, anything that they say, just believe the opposite. USA Today, all these, like I've said,
All these sources that link the sources for their refutations ignore all their factual information. It's opposite day every day in Call's house.
mainstream media outlets have come out debunking it, saying it was a space shuttle launch. I'm going to let you decide for yourself in a minute. But what they failed to mention, what's funniest about it, is that China has it's already well known and documented. They've admitted that they've created an artificial sun that costs over $1 trillion. Huh?
Again, oh, he did the huh thing again. I assume he's talking about some kind of fusion reactor, something similar. Again, I don't really trust anything that comes out of China because of the propaganda, but, you know, China does invest a lot of money into technology, so if it came out that China had invented a really cool fusion reactor, I'd be like, oh, okay. I would just need that verified by other sources.
Well, you say, why do we need one? Well, for starters, I mean, we already have the sun shielding going on with all the stuff they spray in the sky, which prevents the sun from actually hitting us, which it causes a lot of problems, like not getting vitamin D and other things. And of course, while they're spraying us with chemicals and soft metals at the same time. But they don't mention in these articles.
Wait, didn't he just say in the other video he wanted to eat lead or something?
They just make it seem like it's some crazy conspiracy. They don't mention the fact that articles have come out even recently. New York Post, Washington Post, all these places have already documented the fact
Don't you eat that. That's also not yours.
that China has this. They've shown it. China's admitted to having it. But instead they make it sound like crazy conspiracy theorists see this thing launching into the sky and say it's an artificial sun.
Call, why would they launch an artificial sun into space? Like, the only purpose for an artificial sun, in theory, would be to, like, gain energy from it. Why would you launch it into space? What would the point be? Probably Cthulhu says, no, Hannah, it's an artificial sun.
Yeah, well, they already have the capability, so it's only a matter of time before they actually do it. Or are you saying that they invested $1 trillion in an artificial sun so they could put it in a room and stare at it all day and see what...
Call, usually what people are referring to as artificial suns are, like, fusion reactors. That's usually a way of, like, explaining that to, like, people like me who don't have scientific training, right? And they don't just put it in a room and stare at it. They start it, and then ideally, once it's stable, if we can ever figure out stable, like, fusion technology, you use it to produce clean energy. It's not just to look at. In fact, you shouldn't look at it. It's a fusion reactor. Narnandia Owl says, ah yes, the artificial sun we can all see now. Oh wait. True! Wouldn't we be able to see it?
What idiot's dumb enough to go up to it and touch it and lose his hand? I mean, what do you think it's there for? This is the video footage of it actually happening, and this is what they claim was a space launch. Give me a break.
It's a torus that uses magnets to squeeze gas into a plasma, which gives off energy. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so it's a rocket launching into space, and the main thing you see is the light from the boosters, because it's very bright. That's how rocket launches are if you have a bad camera. Yeah, it looks like a video of a rocket test. That's what rocket test looks like. This would be doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card.
Yeah, it really looked like a rocket launch because every time
It literally did. Yeah.
every time NASA or SpaceX, we see these rocket launches, we see a huge circle the size of the sun going into
Usually you see HD video on clear days for NASA rocket launches. Just saying.
the sky. That's exactly what we see, right? Actually, what we
Please tell me this counts as fake sun. Fuck it. Fake sun on the bingo card.
see is just smoke blowing out the rear end of NASA and SpaceX, because that's what they are. We actually just
How big does he think the sun is? I don't know. I don't know if he believes in space. So
see smoke coming out of these things with a little bit of fire, and they zoom in and you can see this stupid thing as it heads towards the ocean where it usually goes. But in this case, it was just going straight up in the sky like a sunrise is actually what it looked like. So
no, it didn't. Has Call seen a sunrise ever?
where do we start? We start with fact check viral video.
I don't know if he's a flat earther.
Shows Chinese rocket launch, not artificial sun by USA Today. Talking about social media users are falsely claiming that a viral video shows an artificial sun being launched. A Facebook video shared in January.
Yeah, Call. This machine that this guy is working on probably actually exists. Again, someone mentioned the thing, it ignites plasma and it gets energy from that. That's a separate thing from the rocket test. The rocket test is a rocket. This is a machine that stays on the ground on Earth because it's used for trying to figure out how to produce energy. They're two separate things. I don't know if you know how big China is, but they do more than one thing at once in terms of developing technology.
January 10th shows a crowd of people with phones gathered near a beach filming what appears to be an orange bulb in the sky. The clip generated so many views on social media, recently deleted Instagram posts, all featuring the same claim. The viral video shows a rocket launch that occurred in December, as independent fact-checking organizations have noted. And then the article ends, but they don't touch base on things like this. And not that the New York Post is credible, but here's an article from the New York.
Not that they're credible, but I'm gonna use them anyway because it helps my conspiracy for some reason. That makes sense. That's consistent. Proctagom says, if China had the ability to make an artificial sun and launch it into the sky as a second sun, then I'd just give up on giving up to our Chinese overlords.
Post.
Nightbot's down, yeah. Someone else will have to give you a link, sorry.
Artificial sun burns 5 times hotter than the real thing. Oh, so they actually have an artificial sun. So they're making the artificial sun, why? Because
for energy production. I'm pretty sure it says in the article, Call. Also, it's contained in a thing. You can't launch it into space and see it. If you launched it into space, it would still be contained in this apparatus. Don't know why you'd launch it into space, but if you did, it would be in a thing.
They're not going to launch it in the sky. They're making the artificial sun to, like I said, they're going to put it in the basement where they're going to have a kegger down there with the artificial sun. Are they just...
Call is like really, really dumb, isn't he? Did he even read the fucking article?
Just going to invite people over to tan to get good tans? What in the world would they be building it for if they weren't going to use it for $1 trillion, really?
For energy production. Okay, so Call, at a fundamental level, most energy we produce is just heating things up. It's trapping heat and using that heat to do work and then storing that as energy that then be transmitted as electricity from one place to another. So if you can make something hot, then you can produce energy, right? It's pretty fundamental to how power works.
China's artificial...
Not all of this is that, of course. Windmills, solar energy, different things. But even nuclear energy, like, it just involves heating things up, basically.
The sun ran for 20 minutes at a whopping 70 million degrees in its latest experiment, which is 5 times hotter than the real sun. Great. Ridiculous. Just weird science getting weirder and more insane and unnecessary. Scientists hope the machine will help harness the power of nuclear fusion, which would bring humanity one step closer to creating unlimited clean energy by mimicking reaction that naturally occur inside the sun. Researchers have been busy running tests at the experimental advanced superconducting tokamak, a nuclear fusion reactor facility, to make its heating system more hot and durable. The facility is called an artificial sun because it mimics the nuclear fusion reaction that powers the real sun, which uses hydrogen and deuterium gas.
I think this is pretty insightful into how Call thinks, because his thought process literally must go, artificial sun? Sun in sky! Me see bright thing go into sky. Must be artificial sun, 'cause sun go in sky. Like, this is the level of, like... this is the thinking we're dealing with this adult human person. He doesn't understand a metaphor, or why they'd call it an artificial sun, or what it's used for. He just hears the word sun and goes, sun! Sun in sky! Bright light in sky! Must be sun! That's how he thinks in his brain!
Gases as fuel. I might be pronouncing that wrong. I apologize. Designed and developed by the Chinese, the East has been used... That's the short nickname, the East, has been used since 2006 by scientists from all around the world to conduct fusion-related experiments. But the project just hit an important milestone. Researchers managed to run the artificial sun at 70 million degrees for as long as 1,056 seconds, or 17 minutes and 36 seconds. So are we supposed to believe that they haven't launched it into the sky? And maybe they...
Cole, why would they launch their trillion-dollar science project into the sky? It's made to be on Earth to produce energy, you stupid bitch! Why, of course, why wouldn't they launch it into the sky? I heard the word sun. That's where the sun goes, idiots. He's so confidently stupid. Why?
They haven't. Maybe they haven't, but how, you know, you're going to tell me that that wasn't some type of an experiment? You're really going to tell me it was a rocket? I mean, really? Fine. Okay, it's a rocket. Then why don't we address USA Today and these other... Why don't you address the fact that they're doing this? At what point are people going to go, yeah, we don't need to be doing that. We actually have a real sun. Oh, I'm sorry. The sun isn't good enough anymore, folks?
He didn't even read the article enough to understand what it's for. It's like he read the title of the article and went no further. Garo the Khajiit says, Call, literally confused by the Daystar. Nick says, who's smarter, Call or the characters that licked the poop in that Samir Pavani video? Definitely the characters, because at least once they licked it, they went, this is poop. Call would keep licking it and be like, this chocolate is delicious.
We don't need the real sun anymore. We've decided it's a bad thing. Soon they'll be deciding oxygen's a bad thing as they bring these things over to the other side, because I don't think they can live with oxygen, so they'll stick you inside the metaverse and have some tubes inside your body. And people always be like, yeah, the sun's bad. Well, they've been blocking the actual sun for long enough here with those things in the skies they call fake, what do they call them? Oh, thin clouds? Where, I mean, if you think they're actually clouds, you're out of your mind. You can see. That's
chemtrails on the bingo card. He thinks contrails are chemtrails. Adia Blue says Strong didn't read the book but wrote the essay Energy.
Come out of the rear end of planes and then spread like an STD through the sky. But the real sun...
So for those who don't know what he's talking about, airplanes, when they go through the air, sometimes condensation will, because of conditions around the plane and the temperature of the wings, condensation will build up on the wing of the airplane, and it'll shed off. You've probably seen this at some point. Airplanes with sort of cloud trails off of them. They're called contrails because it's literally condensation building up on the wing and being left behind as it flies through the air. Conspiracy theorists take this very normal, regular occurrence that planes go through all the time because of physics and have decided that it's secretly poison. It's not. It's not at all. It's literally condensation. It's the same phenomenon that causes, for instance, when you have a cold drink for the outside to get wet. It's condensation. Probably Cthulhu says, I think Call is a late surviving Neanderthal, to be honest.
And its temperature around 15 million degrees at its core, it says. I mean, if they have the capability of sending this up, or having this work for 17 minutes, that's what they're claiming to the public, then you know that they, I mean, you know how long that they probably really can run this.
Probably 17 minutes. I'd imagine the heat is a major issue that they have to contend with.
And, I mean, obviously if it goes up, it's going to have to be turned off in the sky or come down at some point at night, right? If that's what they're doing, if they're running experiments with it, because the sun doesn't stay up for 24 hours, for anyone that doesn't know, unless, of course, you're in a, what is it?
Does Call think when it's nighttime the sun shuts off? Does Call think when it's dark outside the sun has gone to sleep? Call, the sun is on all the time. It's always doing the sun thing. The side of the Earth you're on is just facing the opposite direction of the sun, and that's what night is. He doesn't know why night is night. Okay, interesting. Overthought says the son goes home to his son wife and asks why his son dinner isn't done yet. I'm so tired.
Is it like Alaska in the summer where the sun's up for days on end? Anyway, they say more than, I mean, look, a lot of people look at this and think, what is the point? And this actually...
Yeah, number 58 on bingo. Hannah is so exasperated, all she can do is put her head in her hands for a bit on... Yeah.
This goes back to more of this crap with energy and with climate change. With this thing that they're obsessed with, where they're telling everyone that global warming and telling you, oh, it's all-time record highs and heat. Meanwhile...
Factually correct.
While it's like -20 on the East Coast. And
how can global warming if cold in some places?
A lot of places it's colder.
How can global hunger be an issue if I just ate lunch? Tube Man says, Hannah, obviously the sun goes to sleep in the moon, which was the same size as the sun wakes up. Adia Blue says, in a single rotation of the Earth sphere, each time corner point rotates through the other 3 corners. Time points, thus creating 16 corners, 96 hours, and 4 simultaneous 24-hour days within a single rotation of Earth, equated to a higher order of life. Time cube. Oh god, we covered the time cube before. Garrow the Khajiit with 100 bits says, bitch, it was 80 on Christmas Day at my house. Yeah.
It's ever been in the last 20 to 30 years. But I don't know what I'm talking about, because you're not allowed to actually look at temperatures, feel temperatures, and say, yeah, it's pretty...
Are you a thermometer, Call? Are you a thermometer that checks on average global temperatures year over year?
You know.
Bitter Grin with 100 bits, thank you.
You gotta just listen to what they...
Oh, Hype Train started. Hype Train, Hype Train, Hype Train. If we get to level 5 of the Hype Train, I will teach our cats where night comes from.
They tell you it is even in your own backyard, even in your home. They can come to your house and say that, your walls are bleeding. Like it's...
Harrius Nick with 100 bits says, sun-powered hype train. Nick says, for the kitty education. Adia Blue says, hype time cube. MW1642 with 200 bits. Probably Lannister with 100 says, hype, hype, hype.
It's the Amityville Horror, and in reality you just have white walls with no blood on them, but they could tell you, and these people would actually believe it. They'd be like, oh, it is. I know what you mean. It's bleeding emotionally on the inside, right? Huh? What? Welcome 2022. So this is the type of technology they're running. You might say why. Well, here's a little video clip of why they want to do this.
Bumble Homestead, thanks for 100 bits.
Man has always worshipped the sun. It's perfectly logical, too, as the warm ball of light and heat sitting high in the sky.
Probably Cthulhu says, well, with an incentive like making your cat smarter, then call, who can resist? 93% to level 1.
Fuels life on this planet by producing the equivalent of about 1 trillion nuclear bombs per second.
Sweetie Bunny Mommy, thanks for 100 bits, says, love you, Hannah. And Discordant Vole with 100 says, we're about to have a conversation about the difference between dry globe and wet globe temperatures. I will be shouting.
Enough to power human civilization for 500,000 years every second. So why has China decided to build their very own artificial sun?
Dreb Mebin with 80 bits says, I'm sure you have an easier time teaching your cats than teaching call. Probably true.
The need. Cleaner, better, more. It's no secret, the world's stores of subterranean fossil fuel stores are running out. The industrial age has seen an explosion in the global human population, and those people all need food on the table, lights on in the house, and be able to get from A to B. Burning coal pumps 50 billion tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere every year. And in such a relatively short time in our existence, we have effectively altered the climate of our planet.
Yeah, it's not good. It's real bad. Tube Man with 100 bits. That's from Chowder. Can't play it. Daddy Sume says, hey Hannah, call is making me want to woo squeam. I want to woo make him Minecraft a walket. Swat I am dead. My brain cannot continue this agony waste of my bits. Jesus. Nico Sphinx, thanks for 100, 24% to level 2.
It's no small thing. There is an increasingly urgent need for a cleaner alternative to conventional fossil fuel-based energy generation.
Again, also true. We need to get off of fossil fuels. They're a finite supply of fuel, period. They're going to run out. And even if they didn't, we have environmental issues caused by constantly spewing the results of using these things into the atmosphere. It's not good. Probably a Lannister says photo of Hannah after level 5 hype train. Cute. And probably a Lannister with a link. Photo. No, I read that one. Sorry. Speaking of climate change, says Speedy Yoshi. Oh no.
One. So that one.
That's because there's no such.
Hard to sort out. The climate change one is a weird one. So that one.
That's because there's no such thing as climate, right?
Oh my god. I fucking hate those two.
Wind, solar, geothermal, hydro, tidal. All excellent methods
30% to level 2.
to harness power from nature, but the yield just isn't there to replace current infrastructure and support the needs of the human race. The answer lies in the atom, E equals mc squared. It's an equation known by many but understood by few. Basically, energy equals mass multiplied by the speed of light squared. In layman's terms, there is an almost unfathomably large amount of energy contained within matter just waiting to be extracted.
Nick says Jordan Peterson was smarter when he was in his coma.
The history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Picture a golden god in all their blazing glory.
Okay, I'm picturing Dennis Reynolds. Sweetie Bunny Mommy says get this train moving with 500 bits.
Dragging a fiery orb across the heavens from dawn until dusk. The sun rising and setting is a concept that amazed early man, and this description of a powerful solar deity tasked with ensuring the sun rises each new day could easily be from many religions around the globe.
Yeah, people tend to anthropomorphize natural processes because we are a social species and most of our faculties have developed in order to understand other people, other beings with intent, so it makes sense that when we didn't have an understanding of the natural world in its place, we filled it with anthropomorphizing these phenomena. Why does the sun go up? I don't know, a guy does it. It's how our brains work. Probably Cthulhu says fossil fuels equals dinosaur plastic equals fossil fuels plastic dinosaurs equals actual dinos. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub, 93% to level 2.
The Greek Helios, the Roman Apollo, the Norse Sol, the Hindu Surya. First, mankind wanted to split the atom. We succeeded, though arguably with mixed results. The tremendous
That's certainly a way to put it, isn't it? With mixed results. America's very much wallpapered over the fact that we killed a ridiculous number of innocent civilians with that, huh? Weird. Jacob Aces with 100 bits. Stone Corbell says, finish level 2, and finishes level 2. 80 Blue with 1,000 bits says, we thought if we invoked the soul of Kermit the Frog into a gentle Canadian professor, we would create the ultimate comfy wholesome. We meddled with forces we did not understand. This summer, Peterson unleashed.
The amount of energy released can then either be harnessed or unleashed.
And
51%.
Is this is the crap you hear. You're like, yeah, that's a really good reason. They blame it on the industrial age. This is all about...
I mean, yeah, the effects of the industrial age. Well, obviously, the fruits of the industrial age have given us technological marvels. Not only has it, on a social level, created an even greater division between the rich and the poor, and alienated labor from the means of production, but also, yeah, the pollution aspect is terrible and is going to kill us all if we don't take decisive action. Gara the Khajiit with 100 bits says, even if burning fossil fuels for fuel didn't cause nightmarish climate issues, we'd still need oil to make plastic for stuff, so running out would still be bad. Gene the Scorn said, hi, hello. 58% to level 3.
What's coming, what they're trying to do. And this is part of Biden's Build Back Better. You know, look, I don't believe any of this stuff with the left and right. This is also, they can set up finger pointing at people when they decide to destroy things and say, look, you should have voted for the energy plan. No, we have no energy and all the power's out and all that stuff. And it's everybody's fault, right?
Call could literally be sitting in a shack in a post-apocalypse where 99% of humanity has been killed by climate change, and he would still deny all of this is happening. Thrashmio with 350 bits, thank you. And Sweetie Bunny Mommy, thanks for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs to the community. Much appreciated, getting us through level 3.
Because they're going to have something to blame on. Oh, the Republicans didn't want...
Yeah, I don't know why he's talking about China's fusion program in relation to an American political... thing, the Build Back Better. Probably because he thinks all world governments are controlled by the same evil cabal, with 3 parentheses that he would use to denotate that he is anti-Semitic. Look at this. Oh no, what is this? Yeah, I saw the YouTube NFTs thing. Baha sent it to me earlier. It's stupid. 86% to level 4.
And the liberals... You know, it's all part of the show to get what they want and to do what they want, and that's what they're doing. They're taking trillions of dollars of people's taxpayer money, it's likely what it's from, and they're making...
Does he think the fact that government spending is paid for with taxpayer money is a conspiracy? Nightbot's broken. Pronouns are she, her. Thanks for asking. Call, that's not a conspiracy. That's just how the government works. 80 Blue says, Ben Shapiro enters a bar and sits next to Peterson's daughter. Hypothetically, if we were starting an initiative... Oh god, can we not do Chud Avengers?
Fake suns as if the real sun isn't needed anymore because, well, they're the ones blocking the real sun.
Call, no one's blocking the sun. Walking Trash says, call for some reason. This is fine. DM Trey with 21 months says, howdy, just had some kebabs, and Bittergrin with 1,000 bits. Thank you very much. We're at 57% to level 5. Are we going to have 2 level 5 hype trains today? That's nuts.
It's an insane world, but they'll tell you again that was a spaceship. And I'm not saying one way or the other.
It was a rocket test, Call. I don't even know if it went into space. At minimum, it's a rocket test, though.
Was the actual launch of this thing or not? But it very easily could have just been a test experiment as they prepare to do this, because they've already admitted, as you've...
Call, under no circumstance are they launching that other thing into space. It's not a space thing. Just because they're comparing it to a sun because it uses fusion or whatever, or because it puts off a lot of heat, does not mean it goes into space. It is a terrestrial technology. Steve with a Q with 100 bits says, 5G hype train. Thank you. 61% to level 5.
Seen to having this. I mean, there's no secret, but these outlets just try to make it sound like crazy conspiracy theorists think that they're making a fake sun. These people are.
The conspiracy part is that you think a rocket launches them shooting it into space for no reason. DM Trey, thanks for gifting a sub. Probably Cthulhu says, I need cat education.
Crazy. What?
19% more and I will educate our kitten.
They have a fake artificial sun. It's right there. You can read about it. You can.
Yeah, they do, but they're not launching it into space because that's not what it's for, you idiot. Dernial says, call makes me happy. I'm not insane. Astrofox says, cat school, choo choo, 88% to level 5.
And look it up. So why wouldn't they launch it into the sky? Were they planning on just doing it and not telling anyone? Yes,
Call, why would they launch it into space? What are you talking about?
probably.
Stone Corbell says, I don't know, Call. It sounds pretty crazy when you say that they are literally blocking the sun, and then 80 Blue gifts 5 tier 1 subs, getting us to level 5 of the hype train. Apparently I need to educate our cat.
People get sicker and get less and less vitamin D and less natural nutrients and stuff from the sun. I mean, how do people
Hydrate.
actually, who allows these people to do these things? You know, if tomorrow I was like, I'm going to make a fake moon, or I'm going to make a fake Saturn, and
A fake moon would be called a satellite. We have those.
because they love Saturn, and I'm going to launch it into the sky, or Venus, or Uranus.
If you had the capability to do so, good luck.
What? People just be like, what are you talking about? And what if some
Yeah, because you don't have the technological know-how, money, resources, or education to make something like that happen. Oliver, it's time to educate you, my child. Oliver. Okay. So, Ollie. Do I have a light somewhere? I guess pretend the camera's a light. Ollie will understand. Ollie, look at me. Son. Hey, baby. So, we're here, okay? In the United States. He does not want to learn. And the sun is over here. So when we're facing the sun...
Oh, gosh.
So when we're facing the sun, it's daytime. And when we're not facing the sun...
He says, no, mothers, the earth is flat.
Yeah. What a shame. Would you put this back in the slinky, please? Thank you.
trillionaire was like, I'm
Ouchie.
making a fake sun. Does he have to get a license for this?
Have I ever told my cats my name? They hear my name all the time.
Right? Does he have to, to have this type of technology? But, the government, well, they can do this type of stuff. Or these science labs, because it's in the name of science and it's for the betterment of humanity. Insanity is really what it is. Absolute insanity. So, I wanted to make everyone aware of that. If you're not familiar, you obviously can keep doing...
Okay. I'll teach a PhD candidate about why the sun goes to sleep at night.
I'm just a PhD candidate in genetics. That doesn't
That's
mean
true.
I know anything
That's
about...
So, give me the...
Olive, you're back.
This is very interesting, groundbreaking science. It's only a few thousand years old. Okay, so... Actually, no. Heliocentrism is hundreds of years old. Not thousands, right? Someone tell me. Anyway, so we're here in the United States. The sun comes from this direction. So it's day over here.
It's not day, though.
I know. It's a hypothetical. Stick with me on this.
But it's nighttime.
Okay, well, let's do this then. Right now, it's nighttime. The sun's over here.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the part that the sun isn't shining on, and we're facing away from it. The sun's light can't get to us because it's being blocked by the rest of the Earth.
Okay, but, I can still see the light over here.
Okay, I understand that. That's not the sun, though. That's a light in the room that is scattering all over. The sun doesn't work that way.
Why not?
Because the sun doesn't have a soft filter over it like my light does. And it also doesn't have things it's bouncing off of, like this white wall.
But it bounces off of the moon.
Yes, it does. The moon is not very big.
It's okay, I'm cute.
Anyway, so then the Earth rotates as it's also revolving around the sun. It's at an angle. And then at sunrise, we're facing the sun, and then we get to see it, because we're turned towards it.
Okay, but it is nighttime.
It is nighttime right now, because we are over here.
Okay.
But
So then how do I know that we're ever over here?
when the sun is out,
Someone on YouTube's gonna watch this and think that I am actually dumb.
thank you. And now we're all dead. Princess Amelia says, Oliver seems very much like a cat I used to have called Fred. He would let you hold him as long as he thought you needed to, at which point he would be like, you will let me go now. Felix Night Owl says, what happened to the Neon Hannah Reloaded sign light thing? I still gotta get it. And I gotta figure out how I'm gonna set things up so that it's visible. Probably a Lannister with a link says Ollie. And that catches us up.
Research on your own, but this is stuff that's going on in 2022. Tell people this 100 years ago, they probably club you in the face.
Sorry, everyone.
I don't really care what people 100 years ago would have said. A lot of them were racist. Felix Night Owl says, Also, no, I don't think people in the 1920s, if you told them in the future we're going to build an artificial sun for energy, I don't think they would have beat you in the face. I think they'd be like, well, tarnation. That's not 1920s talk. Well, gee willikers, sir, that sure does sound... I don't know 1920s slang. You get it, though. I don't think they'd be upset. Felix Night Owl says, if the sunlight is being blocked from hitting us at night by the Earth, does that count as cancel culture? That Nifty was 50s. Can you put this back in the slinky? Thanks.
But today, we're supposed to accept it and think it's normal. It's insane. Thank everyone for being here. Reminder, check out the website at callfornuprising.com. If you have any more information about this, there's people who are sharing stuff over on the website. And if something interests you, I definitely recommend getting over there, interacting with others, and sharing stuff that you know about it. I hope to see everybody over there at some point. I want to thank the patrons and thank all of you for your support. I appreciate you being here. Hope you're doing well. God bless you all and your families.
So that's another video by Call, demonstrating a further misunderstanding of how everything works.